Welcome to the Wine Yogi. I'm your guide, Kristal, and I'm here to help you navigate your way through the wonderful world of wine and all its heady associates, craft beers, spirits, and gourmet foods, with the knowledge of a sommelier, the sometimes calm patience of a yoga instructor, and of course the wacky humor of a former Air Force pilot, stay-at-home mama, and a girl raised in the South. So let's get chatting about wine. This episode of The Wine Yogi contains a meditation, a moment of quiet reflection and mindful breathing. This is not something that you want to do when you are driving or if it's a busy moment in your day, such as getting a meal together or getting your kids out the door. Save this for when you can take a few minutes by yourself and sit quietly, comfortably, perhaps with the eyes closed, and enjoy the work of mindful meditation. Namaste. Welcome to this episode of The Wine Yogi. Today I am recording this podcast from a beautiful place in Kristal, Colorado, where our mountains are on the east, which is bizarre for anyone who lives on the Front Range, because the mountains are your western indicator. So to face west is to face the mountains when you're on the Front Range. Once you cross the mountains, though, you're surrounded by mountains, but the main mountain chain that you're used to seeing, the Rockies, when you're in these kinds of valleys, are often to your east. So I am currently sitting at a retreat and spa called Joyful Journeys here in Kristal, Colorado. And I'm at a labyrinth, a meditation labyrinth circle. And this labyrinth is based off of a meditative space in France. In fact, the designer of this particular labyrinth was a Frenchman who came over and built it. You can see the photo, the panoramic of this particular labyrinth on the thumbnail of this podcast, but it is absolutely stunning. So as you sit and face the labyrinth, I'm sitting right outside of it. I am facing the altar, which is in the center, and I'm facing the mountains. The sun just peeked out from behind the clouds. I had hoped that the clouds would kind of keep that sun hidden, because it's pretty strong. We're sitting at about 7,100 feet up here, so slightly higher than what I'm used to. And the sun is quite warm, although, yes, thankfully a cloud I think is moving in front. But I am on the first full day of the Journey to Freedom yoga retreat that I joined. Arrived yesterday afternoon, got settled, had a yoga practice just before sunset, just before dinner, out in kind of the shrub brush area of the space that is here. If you are not familiar with this particular spa and retreat, they have healing waters here that are full of lithium, which can make you a little loopy if you take it internally. Those of you who maybe are familiar with lithium to treat various mental challenges might have heard of it before, but it's also amazing for joints, for healing the body, healing the mind, healing the spirit. And this place is historically relevant for this area. You had native populations that lived here that would come here, and regardless of what their particular tribe was engaged with, even if they were warring parties, they would lay down their weapons, leave them behind to come and heal in the healing waters. They would bring their sick, their wounded, their infirmed, and this is where they would come to set aside conflicts, come together in peace, and come together to heal. So it has a very spiritual connection, both to our past, but also to our ancestors that have come before, when you come here and soak in these waters, walk these grounds, meditate here in this space, look out on the amazing view. It's you're connecting with those that have come before you and done similar things. So yesterday we gathered around together in a circle where we each kind of discussed what freedom means to us. There's about 30 of us here, and it was fascinating to hear all the different stories, all of these people that came from all over who found out about this retreat from various means and methods and sought out this space and this tribe and this gathering to connect, to heal, to set aside differences, to set aside our weapons, whether those are tools that we use to protect ourselves, defenses, or those that we may use to maybe attack others. It doesn't have to be like an actual physical weapon. It could be, in my case, my smart-ass humor and sometimes snarky attitude, which can be biting and hurtful. And especially when I direct that at myself, which is frequent. A little Miss Critic is always present and always nudging me to seek perfection, whether it's in how I look, how I perform, how I interact, perfect relationships, loving expectations on those around me to be perfect. So trying to set aside those weapons, those things that cause harm, whether intended or not, to come to this place to heal. We began, as I said, with a yoga practice right at sunset, facing the mountains. It was amazing. The sun was setting behind us. So any time when we were folded forward, you could look between your feet and see the sun as it went down and slipped down into the mountains behind us towards the west. The breeze would come up and kind of kiss your skin and help cool you off. And then we gathered together for, again, as I said, that circle time to share why we were here. And we each received, if we chose to, we made an offering of flowers to an altar that we constructed. Some of us brought things to place upon the altar. I brought some gemstones and that I use in meditation to soak up all the energy of this weekend, to take back home with me. And when we placed our flowers up at the altar, there were two sets of cards. One was animals, and the other were quotes. And so you just kind of picked them out randomly. You didn't see the animal that you pulled. You didn't see the quote that you pulled. But I ended up pulling a fox. And my friend Tina, who I met while we were sitting in the circle right next to me, had pulled the wolf. And I was like, oh, I wish I had pulled the wolf. Because I've always felt that the wolf is my spirit animal. I went to school at NC State, Wolfpack. I am much more of a canine person. I love dogs, I love wolves, I love pack animals. And I find beauty in wolves. They're just probably my favorite wild animal. And so I was disappointed that I pulled a fox. And so when the circle came around, I was one of the last to introduce myself. And I didn't really mention my quote, although my quote I loved, and it was about, where we find meaning. It's not meaning is in the experience was my quote. So I often think about the journey that we're on. It's not just that one moment of sheer joy, anger, frustration, happiness, content. It's that entire journey. That's where you're finding the meaning. So that resonated with me too. But the fox, why a fox? Well, it is a canine, so I was like, okay, all right. So we're in that. My word that I've been resonating on, that's kind of been my focus, my sankalpa, because I am trying to deal with my inner critic, to try to begin to accept my body with all of its limitations and let go of past expectations. So my sankalpa, my word, when we started this was accept. That's what kept floating up. Accept. Accept. I need to do that in my relationships, accept. Accept what my son wants to do. Accept where he is at. Accept how he comes to this journey himself. Same with my husband, my parents. Accepting where each fellow being is in this journey with me, and accept where they're going in their own journey. But for this healing, for me, it's definitely about accepting where I am at in this body. So, acceptance. I accepted that the card I pulled was the fox. And it wasn't until this morning that I actually read what the fox meant. But when I was introducing myself, and I said, I drew the fox, and I was a little jealous of Tina because she had the wolf. But then I started thinking about it. Foxes are clever. Foxes are small, and because of their size, they have to be smart, and they have to be quick. And when they are dealing with their prey or evading those that hunt them, they have to be elusive. And I kind of feel like that really was appropriate for me because I'm a little small. I have to be creative in the challenges that face me, so I have to be clever. And then because this is the way I handle life, when I'm either in uncomfortable situations, challenging situations, stressful situations, frustrating situations, I immediately turn to humor. So I, of course, then said, because I'm not a wolf, so I have to accept that I'm a smaller canine, so a fox. Okay, fine. It's like small dogs who think they're big dogs, but accept you're small. Accept you got short girl problems. Accept that God does not always give you the answer that you think you need. He gives you the answer that you actually need. Accept. And so I concluded my introduction after a lot of laughter, because I think it's just built into me. I try to make people laugh, break the silence with laughter and joy. And so I finally said, so I'm small, I'm clever, and I'm probably rabid at times. So don't get too close because I might bite. And so of course everybody found that really humorous. But then this morning I got the book that goes with these cards, and I read up on what the fox is, and one of the endearing qualities is charming, clever, charismatic, charisma. That we foxes are monogamous in our relationships. We're very loyal to individuals, and that's how. And I look back, and that's how I've always been. I have never been one to be in a group of best friends. I've always wanted one best friend. I have never been one, even though I'm a huge extrovert. I enjoy one-on-one time. I don't necessarily need to be in big crowds. I love to be social, but I don't like to be social with big crowds. I like to be that butterfly that just kind of, goes around to individuals, talks to individuals. And then I started thinking about my relationship with my best friend, my husband, and our son. And I enjoy the one-on-one times. I enjoy our time together as a family, certainly, but I am definitely at my best and balanced when I am one-on-one. So I had to pause the podcast for just a moment when my my wolf friend Tina walked up. She just came from soaking in the waters and is feeling so amazingly relaxed. And I tell you, that is one of the things that immediately, when you immerse yourself in places like this, whether it's here, Ojo Caliente, other healing waters throughout the West, or even places, in your local town or city, spas, resorts, places of quiet where you can maybe find just a moment to be in nature. It's amazing what it can do, not only for the body, but for the spirit and the soul. And so last night was wonderful. The waters were lovely. Like I said, they are pools filled with lithium. There are 3 pools of different temperatures. And then went back. My roommate, we both had a good chuckle. So we're both Southern women, probably the only Southerners here. Well, there's a gentleman from Florida, but people in the South know that people from Miami are not Southern. So bless their hearts. But he's a hoot. I absolutely adore him. And thankfully this morning, when I'll get to what we did this morning, but he was very open to exchanging malas with me. But back to my roommate, Mary. We both had the same worry as we were coming here. So she's from Louisiana, because I only know one of the hosts. And so meeting new people, who was our roommate going to be? And I thought, I'm probably going to be stuck with someone in their 20s, someone I can't relate to. And as it is, nope, my roommate and I, we are not the oldest ladies here, but we are definitely bringing the average age up. And we hit it off like gangbusters. And she doesn't snore. And apparently I don't snore either. So we did not keep each other awake. It was glorious. Just a lovely, lovely human being. And so once that worry was released, and it's nice because we can have someone to confide into about, I didn't expect this, I didn't expect that, without judgment. So lovely. I've met some lovely human beings here, just amazing. In fact, as I mentioned, Neil, this morning we were in a puja ceremony, which is a ritual morning prayer meditation. It is based off of Indian and Hindu experiences and practices. However, you can take this ceremony as well and put it into your own faith base. So it is not, in my opinion, one does not have to worship these other deities of other religions, but it's just like having a place in your home to pray, whether you're praying the rosary, you're doing a Bible study, sitting down and having, time with the Bible and scripture, or just praying, wherever that is. This was very similar. And it's a beautiful, we all circled around this center spot that has an angel statue where people have left things. They've left flowers, they've left necklaces, bracelets, personal items. You can see different religions reflected in this place. And for us, we ended up doing some chanting. It was very cool this morning. It was right after sunrise. We went through different purifying steps to just kind of prepare ourselves and our spirits for the day. And then most folks went back, had a bite to eat, and then we went in for our yoga practice. And it was amazing. It was active. It was vinyasa. There was a lot of power happening, a little bit of Ashtanga to kind of begin to really get blood moving, prana, or your breath. Prana is the breath, prana is energy, getting that moving. And then we cooled it all down for a beautiful relaxation of Shavasana. And I found it fascinating. One of the things that one of our guides shared with us, so Shavasana translates loosely as corpse pose, and it has other meanings, but it is the end of a cycle. So in the case of a yoga practice, the end of that practice. And then, as in my own classes, we rolled over onto our sides and took a fetal position. So cradled the arms, cradled the head in the arms, curled the knees up a little bit to get comfortable, laying on one side. And when I guide and prompt in my classes, if you need to ground your energy, you roll to your right. If you need to tap into your energy and build your energy for a big day or a big week or whatever is happening in your life, you roll to your left. So he's laying on my left side. And often when I talk about this posture, I say it's one of the first we learned as babies. And I remind people to connect the mind to the breath to the body, and the body to the earth. But one of our guides, Cole, she said that as with Shavasana, which is bringing an end, a conclusion to one particular journey, one particular cycle, coming into this fetal position, it's a position of rebirth. It's beginning something new, rising from whatever you've left in the past, whatever's come to an end, whatever's come to its conclusion, and then growing up from that. Again, like a seed connecting to the earth, rooting yourself in that breath, in that moment, as you then begin to rise and take on the rest of your day or the rest of your journey or the rest of your life. So I found that extremely beautiful, extremely moving. I loved it. So that's why I'm recording this podcast, so I could capture it. And it was a lovely morning. And then we broke for breakfast. Most of us have gone down into the waters, but after my yoga practice this morning, where I definitely got prana moving, and I'm to that point now, anytime I'm doing yoga in a warm environment, it is officially hot yoga. Who needs a heated room? Just don't have any air conditioning going and I'm going to get hot. But I decided to cleanse today, let everything settle, mainly because the food I ate last night was amazing. We had gluten-free, vegan, all kinds of different amazing salads and soups and pizzas, and it was fantastic. So today I'm taking a break from food. I'm doing a little cleanse because I'm not going to be able to do my weekly cleanse next week, probably until later in the week. So I'm pausing here and allowing that to reset, my energy to recharge. And then we will be meeting later today. Not sure what's happening. That's a challenge for me. Normally I need to have my schedule, I know in advance, what am I doing, where am I going to be at. Again, it's my Pitta personality. And so here I sit, reminding myself of what my sankalpa is. Accept. And just now I'm in a safe place. I'm surrounded by beautiful human beings in a beautiful place. I've set aside my weapons to come into this healing place, to allow the sky above me, the earth below me, the water around me, the air blowing through across my skin, blowing through my hair, kissing me with its cooling, loving, almost laughter when the breeze picks up. And the fire, when we burn things away, and we burn away the dross, we burn away those things that we are trying to let go of. So I'm just kind of returning to accept, returning to accept, returning to accept. So if you have a moment and you're not busy with life, you're not in the middle of cooking dinner or actually driving through carpool, maybe if you're sitting in carpool and know you've got a couple of minutes before the kiddos come out and inundate you with noise and sound, or maybe it's the end of your evening and you just have a few moments for quiet reflection, I am going to invite you to perhaps close the windows of the eyes or soften the gaze down the nose. Find a comfortable seat. Begin to root down through your sits bones into your seat. Maybe legs are crossed. Maybe both feet are planted on the floor. Maybe you're seated on the floor, seated in a comfortable chair, or you're just finding a place where you can be comfortable and be at peace. Begin to lengthen up through the spine as you ground down through the sits bones, imagining that that spine is growing and lengthening. And with the windows of the eyes closed, I invite you to turn the palms up and rest them comfortably into your lap, welcoming in the healing energy of your breath. If you're lucky enough to be sitting outside, maybe feeling the warmth of the sun or the cool breeze as it blows across your palms. Begin to withdraw the senses. At first, maybe identifying the sounds of nature or the sounds around you as far away from you as possible. Just noticing without judgment, not trying to figure out where they are, what they are, where they're coming from. And then begin to bring that awareness closer. Maybe it's the sound of vehicles along the road. Maybe it's the sound of trees with leaves rustling in the wind. Maybe it's an insect, the call of birds. And then begin to bring that awareness even closer. Maybe it's the sound of my voice. Maybe it's the sound of your breath. Maybe it's the sound of the heartbeat. And then bring that awareness even closer. Can you begin to hear that hum of the inner ear? Can you identify your sound that contributes to the universe? Now taking the left hand, place it upon the heart. Bring the right hand and place it on top of the left. Allow the head to bow, perhaps with a soft smile. Listening to the sound of you, your breath, your heartbeat, your universal sound. Give thanks for you, your greatest teacher. Give thanks to those who inspire you, your gurus. Whether it's a family member, a teacher, a friend, a sibling, a child, whether it is a spiritual leader, whether it's Jesus, God, or the universe itself, give thanks for those teachers who have guided you, who've led you, who've loved you, who've lifted you up, Give thanks for those who support you in this journey. Take a moment. Notice how the body's feeling. Are there places of discomfort? Are there places where you feel amazing? Can you be at peace and accept the places where you feel amazing with equal love and gratitude for those places where you maybe feel some discomfort? Give thanks for this body that carries you through your journey. Accept wherever you are at as you're arriving to this moment, in this place. And now give thanks for this journey itself, for the highs and lows, the joys and successes, the tears, the failures, and the loss. As with your body, can you accept with equal love and gratitude those things in this journey that have made you smile, have made you laugh, have made you feel like you're bursting with happiness and joy? Can you accept all those things with equal gratitude for the things that maybe have made you sad, have hurt you, have angered you, frustrated you? And in both places, whether you've laughed with tears of joy or wept with tears of mourning, hurt, anger, can you accept all of these things because they are all a part of you and all a part of this journey? Without those challenges, the things that hurt us, hinder us, limit us, harm us, we would not be able to appreciate and embrace and accept those things that heal us, lift us up, embrace us, enable us, and bring us joy. One more inhale. On your next exhale, release the hands back into the lap. Begin to bring your eyes either back into focus, or feel free to begin to flutter them open. As you look around, see with new eyes the colors that the universe has painted before you. See with new eyes those that are around you that you love and who love you. See with new eyes yourself accepting who you are in this moment and in this space. I thank you for allowing me to guide you through this meditation. Namaste. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Wine Yogi and for allowing me to be your guide through this meditation. If you would like more information about my yoga journey or my journey through the wonderful world of wine and food, please give me a follow and download my podcasts off of iHeart, iTunes, Apple Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, or whatever platform you get your podcasts from. As always, you can find The Wine Yogi at ladieschitchatclub.com, but also at IamTheWineYogi.com, which is my personal website where you can get more information on my podcasts, blog posts, my event schedule, and additional information on how to contact me. So until next time, cheers and namaste.